So here's the thing that most coaches never realize, let alone admit and apply to their own businesses and lives. And it's this: there is a version of you that is making twice as much money with half the amount of work that you're currently putting in. Let that sink in. Let that really connect. There's a version of you making twice as much money with half the amount of work. Look, I maybe don't know you, maybe I've never met you, maybe we've never personally interacted. And I certainly don't claim to know everything about everyone's situation. But here's what I do know. Over 28 years of coaching, literally tens of thousands of coaches. It's this. Most coaches have no idea how far they've moved away from the very things that would bring them the success that they've always craved. They've got no idea. They're out there buying or signing up for every free report they can possibly get their hands on. They're following thousands of different people who are talking about thousands of different things, from how to get more eyeballs and traffic and Facebook ads, and how to blow up Insta, and what hooks to use, and what scripts and fonts and everything else, all that kind of shit, right? They're caught up in what I call the thick of thin things. And yet, when I look at every single coach that I know that's doing really, really well, there's a core theme that runs through all of them. One, they are totally authentic, right? They're simply showing up as themselves. They're talking about what they believe and what they hold to be true and what they value. And they're sharing it powerfully, and not with an aim to be nice. They're showing up aiming to be necessary, right? They're saying the things that are necessary to be said rather than nice to be said. They're totally authentic. They are totally committed. They show up, do the work that makes the difference. Not just show up and grind, not just show up and hustle, not get up an hour earlier than everyone and stay up an hour later and work every hour God sends. It's got nothing to do with that. They're committed to doing the work on what matters and what makes the difference and what moves the needle. And next, they utilize what I call ESP. Now, not extrasensory perception, exact, specific and precise. The way they talk about things is exact, specific and precise. Their offers are exact, specific and precise. Their promises, their refund policies, what you're going to get in the program, whatever is ESP, is exact, specific and precise. And because they're authentic, and because they're committed, and because they're exact, specific and precise, they are earning double what most coaches are earning for doing half the work. My invitation to you then is to adopt some of this same stuff here. How authentic can you be? How can you get yourself further and further down the road to speaking about what's necessary rather than talking about what's nice? How can you get yourself further and further down the road to making your commitments really matter, right? Particularly those commitments to things that move the needle and make a real difference. And how can you get yourself further down the road to being far more exact, specific and precise? I don't know the answer for you straight off the top of my head. I've not met you, we've not had a conversation. But that's what coaching is about. And that's what you should be looking for. If you don't know the answers to those things, that's the time when you need a coach to work with you, right? What am I seeing? What am I not seeing? Because I'm in the frame that you're seeing really, really clearly. What am I not doing that from your experience that would make all the difference? What am I doing that is holding me back, right? You're probably never going to identify these things without the aid and assistance of a coach. And look, let me just be really, really clear. I'm not talking about it has to be me. I'm not about to kind of say to everybody that you have to DM me for a free strategy call or anything like that. That's not what this is about. This is about a coach speaking to an audience of coaches, saying that when you're stuck and you don't know how to get yourself back to full-on authenticity, commitment, exactness, specificness, preciseness, that now is exactly the right time to get help with that. Now is exactly the time for you to step up and get the clarity, the direction, the focus, the strategy, the support you need to move all of those obstacles out of your way and finally start building a coaching business you've always dreamed of. Because here's another truth, right? If having double the income with half the work blew your mind, let this one play around up in that bone dome of yours. What would it be like? What would it take to be earning 10 times the income you're currently earning from coaching from a 10th of the work? Okay, that's a bit of a mind fuck, right? But let it sit there, because not only is it possible, it's highly probable if you stop doing the unskillful things and start leaning into what is skillful. Authenticity, commitment, exact, specific, precise language. Right? Do everything in your power to remove everything that takes you away from those things. And you're going to be in a much, much, much better place. That's it from me. Hope you enjoyed my little mad rambling. Take care and much love.